We're at 6:49 now, 11 degrees. If you've ever doubted the power of persistence, our next guest will surely change your mind. Joining us now with this amazing story is Michael McGauley. Of course, I didn't confirm how to pronounce your name before we went on the air. I should have done that. Was I close?
Yeah, it was close.
Okay. From Dream Builders Incorporated. Michael, thanks so much for coming in.
Well, it's a great opportunity.
I know you're touring the country now, and you've got an amazing story to tell. We're going to talk about your actual steps to success later on. Okay. But let's deal with this horrific accident that nearly took your life. Tell us what happened.
Well, I was on my way home, about 3 blocks from my driveway, and I saw this blue streak flash out in front of me, and I knew I couldn't stop, and I impacted the driver's door of this car. And you know, it takes you a second to kind of figure out that I wasn't hurt. I could see the young man across from me was. I jumped out of my car to help him, and I was rendering assistance, and a drunk driver came through the scene and crushed a girl and myself and a police officer between the 2 cars.
So once that happened, as horrific as it was, obviously you went through the medical procedures and the process. What were you told by doctors? Well,
in the beginning they told me that I wasn't going to live. Actually, they told my parents. I don't really remember that. But they did tell me that I was going to be an amputee, either one or both of my legs, depending on which operation we were talking about.
So what was going through your mind at that point?
Well, at the beginning, I went through and said, there's no way, this isn't going to happen. And it just came out as a gut reaction. And I started to push my way through it, like most people do. When they have a goal, you use willpower. And what do I do when willpower runs out? And that's how I started to move systems and putting things in place.
We've got a shot of you here now, and apparently you participated in the triathlon?
Yes, I did. I did do a triathlon. It took me a couple of years. Actually, it was about 12 years after the accident. The picture of me in the wheelchair was about 3 years in, and the triathlon's about 12 years after.
Well, you've made an amazing recovery. I mean, just looking at you right now, you never know that you had any medical problems whatsoever. And this has led you to Power Steps to Success, and we've got an actual shot of it here. Tell us how you got into this particular organization, and obviously what you have gone through over the years has helped you in bringing this to other people.
Well, yeah. How it started was people just kept asking me to tell them how I had managed to recover. The doctors told me less than 3% of the people actually do. And so what was special about me? And I thought, I think maybe the only thing that was special is that maybe I had a system. So I started to go through the process of developing that system and writing it down. It took a lot of distilling. And so I started looking at what was important to me, why I wanted certain things, how I was going to step through, and who I was going to use, or who was going to be my person who was going to help me move ahead. And I'm not so sure that everyone had that. Those are general terms. Obviously, specifically, you have to drill right down for each individual. But I needed to know why I really wanted it, and was I willing to pay the price.
Right. Well, who are you targeting with this particular program? Does this apply to anybody?
Well, I think anybody can use it. And a lot of folks I talk to are in trauma recovery of some form, whether that happens to be people who are recovering from a serious accident, or whether it's someone who's lost a job, or someone who has managed to gone through a divorce, or one of those things there.
Right. So you go through the particular steps here, and how long does it typically take a certain length of time to recover from what your problem may be?
It can take a number of years. It took me about 7, depending on how you step through the process. Usually, with a combination of the products and we start to step through things, it can take a couple of months to actually get the foundation, and then it's about you maintaining the persistence and carrying through.
Right. Could you give me some indication of what some of those steps would be along the way?
Sure. One of the big ones is don't be alone with a crazy idea. And I use that as an analogy that quite often we have thoughts in our head that aren't the ones that necessarily come out of our mouth, and we don't necessarily check and get support around making those things happen. So I use something we call the buddy system, which has been around. It's not new. We used it in kindergarten, and we used it in swimming lessons. But your buddy's job is to keep you on track. Because quite often that's what happens when we fall off track.
Right, right. Well, it sounds like a very interesting program, and one that's very necessary for people who have gone through traumatic situations, and it sounds like it would apply to many different scenarios.
It certainly does. Quite often I'm talking to organizations, not just individuals, particularly in the healthcare industry. I talk to a lot of folks there, education, and any of the direct sales organizations really like the power of persistence. How do I keep going when I want to move ahead and keep cold calling or do whatever it is that they need to focus on?
So how long would it take to get through the system?
To actually get through the system, it could take you 3 to 5 months, depending on how long you want to work through it and how quickly you want to adapt and make the changes. I mean, really, we're talking about how do you define commitment for yourself. And when you're talking about commitment, what I actually mean is, are you willing to change who you are to be somebody who's, let's say, worthy of the goal that you seek?
Right. I guess this is how seriously you take it, too,
That's
or
right.
how bad a position you deem yourself to be in, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Okay, so thanks so much for coming in. It was a
Thank
pleasure
you very
meeting
much,
you.
Mike.
Good luck with your program here. If you need some more information on the Dream Builders Incorporated, you can call. We've got a toll-free number up on your screen now. It's 1-866-878-8289. You can also catch them on the web. Their website is thedreambuildersinc.com.